Hi students, I'm Dr. Bhavna. In this lecture we are going to deal about the continuation of the chapter that is called as Animal Kingdom. So in the Animal Kingdom we already have come to the last part of the Animal Kingdom. That is nothing but about the phylum Chordata. This is the last phylum which we are going to deal in Animal Kingdom, and we are going to finish with this chapter of Animal Kingdom. So we have started with phylum Chordata. So Chordata, in the last class we have seen numerous how to differentiate between chordates, non-chordates, everything we have seen, how to differentiate between each thing. So today we are going to see mostly concentrate on vertebrates. So in the phylum Chordata, again they are divided into three types. That is nothing but urochordates, then cephalochordates, then vertebrates. Urochordates, cephalochordates as well as vertebrates. So these are the three subphylum which are classified under phylum Chordata. Phylum Chordata. These are the three subphylum which are classified under phylum Chordata. So next, when we go deep into this, we have seen about how to differentiate these three things. We have seen how to differentiate is basically based on the notochord. Notochord is present in all chordates. So we are going to differentiate in these three how notochord is present. Suppose in urochordates, notochord is present only in the larval tail. What is notochord? It is a mesodermally derived structure. It's a rod-like structure that is specifically present in only chordates. So when we come to urochordates, only the notochord is present only in the larval tail it is present. Rest all places this notochord is absent. So specific feature is in neet, important neet question. They will ask numerous questions based on this only. Like notochord present only in larval tail. When it comes to cephalochordates, here notochord is persistent throughout the life. Notochord is persistent from head to tail. It is present as well as it is persistent throughout the life. From head to tail, notochord is present. This is the main difference feature which is going to differentiate between urochordates, cephalochordates as well as vertebrates. So notochord only larval tail is present. When it comes to cephalochordates, full notochord is present from head to tail, as well as it is persistent throughout the life, as well as these organisms are mostly marine organisms. That is also a good differentiating feature. So these are marine organisms. Next, the third is vertebrates. When you come to vertebrates, the specific feature of vertebrates is notochord is present only during embryonic development. Later in the next stage, it is not persistent. So notochord is present only during embryonic development. Only during embryo stage this notochord is present. Later what is present? It is replaced by cartilaginous or bony vertebral column. Vertebrates means only we will see vertebra is present. That is vertebral column is present. So in some cartilaginous vertebral column is present, in some bony vertebral column is present. So notochord is present only during embryonic development. Later it is replaced by bony or cartilaginous vertebral column. So this is the main differentiating feature between these three. urochordates, cephalochordates as well as vertebrates. Neat questions, so many they will ask based on this. Only notochord is present only in the larval tail. It is in urochordates. It is present from head to tail. That is in only cephalochordates. When it comes to vertebrates, it is present only during embryonic development. Later it is replaced by cartilaginous or bony endoskeleton, that is vertebral column. So these are the three differentiating features under the phylum Chordata. These are the different subphylum which are classified. Now we will go to examples related to this. When you come to examples of urochordates, that is Accidia, Scalpa, as well as Doliolum. Accidia, Scalpa, Doliolum. Just write down these specific features. Next, when you come to cephalochordates, example, it is nothing but only one example is there. That is brachiostoma. Brachiostoma. Only one example, that is brachiostoma. When it comes to vertebrates, now vertebrates again they are classified into numerous classes like chondrichthyes, osteichthyes, cyclostroma. Now we are going to see that all it is classified. So just now write down about these three. Next we will go in detail into vertebrates. So phylum Chordata into three subphylum. Again in this subphylum of vertebrates, again it is classified as numerous classes. So here specific feature is only larval tail, here head to tail, persistent throughout the life. Here notochord is present only during embryonic development. Later it is replaced by bony or cartilaginous endoskeleton. As well as in urochordate, Accidia, Scalpa, Doliolum is the three common examples. These you should verify. 2 or 3 times you should read, then only you will be able to easily propagate. Then next cephalochordates, it is nothing but brachiostoma. Now we are going in deep into classification of vertebrates. So when you go into deep into classification of vertebrates, see again vertebrates will have kidneys which play an important role. Heart is present because vertebrates means we humans also will come. So for us heart is present as well as kidneys play an important role in excretion. These two, heart as well as kidney, in all vertebrates it is present. So that's why I am specifying 2 or 3 times. Heart as well as kidney. When it comes to lungs and all, in few it may be present, in few it may be absent. But when it comes to heart as well as kidneys, these two structures are present in all vertebrates. So this point you should remember. Next, when you go into deep into vertebrates, vertebrates are classified as Agnatha and Gnatostomata. Gnatostomata. Agnatha, Gnatostoma. Agnatha means what? Agnatha means without jaws. By name only we can understand. Agnatha is without jaws. When it comes to Gnatostoma, that is with jaws. Means teeth will be present in them but jaws are absent. This is the specific feature. When it comes to Gnatostomata, here jaws also are present. So jaws means what? The maxilla and mandible. These are absent in Agnatha which are present in Gnatostomata. When it comes to Agnatha, only one class is classified under Agnatha. That is nothing but Cyclostoma. Cyclostoma. So important neat question. Cyclostoma belongs to Agnatha. That is without jaws. Jaws are absent for them. When it comes to gnathostroma means what? Here jaws are present in them. When it comes to jaws are present in them, again they are specified into two classes. Again two subclasses they are divided. What are those subclasses which they are divided? First one is Pisces. Pisces. Pisces means what? Fishes. Fishes are classified under jaws because they will have jaws. So they are classified under Gnathostroma. Only two classes are present in this Pisces. That is nothing but Chondrichthyes osteichthyes. Chondrichthyes. Next it is osteichthyes. Chondrichthyes as well as osteichthyes. When it comes to another classification, it is tetrapods. Tetrapods. See how you are able to differentiate. Pisces means fishes. They will have fins that are present. When it comes to tetrapods, limbs are present for them. Fins, limbs. Fins are useful for exactly in the fresh water they want to move. So fins are useful for this. Tetrapods means legs are present. So fins as well as legs. That is legs means hands and legs, limbs we say. So limbs are present in tetrapods. Again normal classes will come under these tetrapods. Nothing but reptiles, aves. Aves means birds. Reptiles, aves, mammals we humans. These all will come under tetrapods. Reptiles, aves and mammals. Reptiles, aves, mammals will come under this classification. So I want you all to clearly differentiate what are the different vertebrates which are present. What is the classification that is related to vertebrates? When you come to classification that is related to vertebrates, first phylum Chordata, then classified into Urochordates, Cephalochordates, vertebrates. Urochordates only larval tail, notochord is present. Cephalochordates full it is present and it is persistent throughout the life, full body it is present. When you come to vertebrates, it is present during embryonic development, later stages it's absent. Then Acidia scalpa doliolum is for the urochordates. Only one example for cephalochordates, that is nothing but Brachiostroma. Then later, the third classification is vertebrates. When you come under classification of vertebrates, again they are classified as Agnatha and Gnathostroma. That is nothing but Agnatha means without jaws. Jaws are absent. When you come to Gnathostroma, jaws are present for them. So Agnatha only one class, that is nothing but cyclostoma. When you come to Gnathostroma jaws, that is again classified into Pisces as well as tetrapods. When it comes to Pisces, that is Chondrichthyes as well as osteichthyes because they bear fins. Fins are present which are helpful for swimming. Then later in tetrapods, limbs are present. That is nothing but reptiles, aves and mammals. These three are associated with that of tetrapods. So this is the classification of vertebrates. Now we are going to see about the first class, that is nothing but cyclostoma. Agnatha without jaws. Just remember, we are going to see about the cyclostoma. So again under class cyclostoma, phylum, subphylum, class, these all you should clearly notice the differences. Class, what is phylum, what is subphylum, that all. So class cyclostoma. When you come to class cyclostoma, again The first thing which you should remember related to cyclostoma, it is nothing but they have cartilaginous endoskeleton. So they are cartilaginous. Next, they are mostly marine organisms and they live in sea mostly. So they are marine organisms and mostly they live in sea. In saline areas they live mostly, but they migrate to fresh water for spawning. They migrate to fresh water. Fresh water for spawning. What is spawning? Spawning means nothing but for them again they are born, right? The new ones are born. That is the larval stages. For the larval stages, for the giving birth to their young ones, they migrate to fresh water. And after they live in fresh water, again they will die. After few days for living in fresh water, they will die. Again their what we say, their larvae, they come back to again sea. Their larva metamorphoses, they come back to the sea. Their larva metamorphoses to sea. So these are cartilaginous. Next, they are marine. They are mostly seen in marine, that is in the sea. They migrate to fresh water for spawning. Only for spawning they migrate to fresh water. Later some days they will live in fresh water and they will die. Their larvae which are produced in the fresh water, they can't stay for more time in fresh water. So again they will come back to the normal stage. So their larva metamorphoses back to the sea. Their larva will come back to the sea. I am explaining you in clear sentences. Next, they are ectoparasites on some fishes. That is, they live on some fishes, the cyclostoma. Parasites means what? They feed on the fishes. They feed, they are present on the fishes. Whatever, for human beings also, numerous lice and all, they are ectoparasites for humans. So for fishes also there are some ectoparasites which will take help from those of fishes. They are nothing but this class Cyclostroma only. They take the thing from the fishes, that is they live on the fishes. So they are ectoparasites on some fishes. Important neat question that you should remember. They are ectoparasites on some fishes. Later. Now, because we have told Ajnata means what? Without jaws. So for them, jaws are absent. Jaws are absent. And how they resemble? Suppose this is the class Cyclostoma. This is the class of Cyclostroma. That's all. They are devoid of scales and fins also are absent. Scales are absent. Placoid scales means which are sharp and all. The body full should contain scales, right? For numerous fishes you see scales. But if scales are absent, that is class Cyclostroma. So placoid scales are absent. Placoid scales are absent. And paired fins also are absent. Paired fins are absent. Only fins are present in only two classes. That is nothing but Chondrichthyes as well as Osteichthyes. Rest all fins are absent. Only in Chondrichthyes as well as Osteichthyes they are present. because the marine as well as they will somewhat be classified under fishes. Numerous fishes they will be classified. That's why they will come under the that chondrichthyes and osteichthyes spices. Next, when we see the another classification, what we have seen, aves, birds, mammals, these all reptiles, these all we have seen. They all will not have the same feature of this. So that you should remember. They will have tetrapods, that is limbs will be present for them. So this is about the class Cyclostroma. Another important point which you should remember is, till I'm going in an order only so that it will be very useful. Till now, whatever classes which we have done, everything I have gone in an order. First, we will specify whether where they are living. Next, we will specify about their specific features what are present. Then, later we will go to examples and finally end that phylum. Here also I am going in the same pattern. Now, another two important specific features which are associated with this class Cyclostroma is nothing but, see, gill slits. They have 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits. 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits are present. Gill slits. That is, numerous gill slits are present. What we have seen in chordates specific features, the pharynx is perforated by gill slits. So 6 to 15 pairs, important neat question. How many gill slits are present in the class Cyclostroma? So 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits are present in that of class Cyclostroma. What is the use of this 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits which are present on the pharynx? Pharynx is perforated by gill slits. Means what are they useful? They are useful for respiration. Normally gills means only we see that they are useful for respiration. Like this gill slits also same function. That is they are useful for respiration. Respiration. 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits are present which are useful for respiration. Then later, the next topic. After 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits which are present, the another thing that you should remember is circulation, about circulation. Blood vessels, numerous blood vessels and all, I already told you. Heart is also present for all the organisms. So, it exhibits a closed type of circulatory system. That is, blood will not flow into open spaces. Blood will flow in all the same considering things only. So, this exhibit a closed type of circulatory system. Closed type. Closed type of circulatory system. So these are the main specific features of class Cyclostoma. Everything important you should remember. First, when we have started with class Cyclostoma, we have started like how, where they are present, how they are present. Then later we have continued about the only two specific features. Three specific features mainly they are present. First one is what are useful for respiration. That is nothing but 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits. Important neat question they'll ask. What are the gill slits which are present? So 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits are present in that of class Cyclostoma. They'll specify the number. They'll ask you. The neat question will be prepared like that and they will give you chondrichthyes, osteichthyes like that. So this you should remember. This full animal kingdom is basically a topic that you should revise 3-4 times, as well as before going to exam also 3-4 times you should revise, because these all are related to, you should by heart numerous what we say, their features you have to by heart, the scientific names, the examples, because animal kingdom they give you numerous marks for neat. It is very useful for you. So these all you should concentrate 3 or 4 times and you should remember clearly. So when you get into class Cyclostoma again, first point you should remember is they are ectoparasites on some fishes. What are the organisms which are ectoparasites on some fishes? So that is class Cyclostroma, ectoparasites on some fishes. Next, what is the type of endoskeleton which they exhibit? Is it the vertebral is cartilaginous or bony endoskeleton? It is mostly cartilaginous endoskeleton. Sometimes bony endoskeleton also may be present, but mostly it is cartilaginous endoskeleton which is present. That is vertebrae. The vertebrae is cartilaginous or sometimes bony, but majority you remember cartilaginous endoskeleton is present. So that is done. Next, where they live. So they live in marine area. That is in marine organisms. They are marine, they live in the sea. And they migrate to fresh water for spawning. Only organisms which migrate to fresh water for spawning is nothing but class Cyclostroma. So they migrate to fresh water for spawning. Later, their larva again, because they can't stay in fresh water because they are adapted to saline water, sea water. They are so much adopted. That's why they can't live in fresh water. Only for spawning they migrate to fresh water. That is to give birth to young ones. They go to fresh water. They will survive for some time and they will die there. Later, their larvae which are present, they all will metamorphosis to adult in the sea. They will come back to the sea and they grow as adults. Again, they will live in seawater only. Again, when they want to reproduce, again they will go to fresh water. So, only one which migrate to fresh water for spawning is nothing but class Cyclostroma. Then later, as we have read, cyclostoma means only jaws are absent. So they are jawless. That is, jaws are absent. They are classified under Agnatha. They are without jaws. Then when they are without jaws, all are absent. Scales are also absent. Simply they are present like that. Like one small organism they are present. Scales, they are devoid of scales, as well as they are devoid of paired fins also are absent. So scales are absent, jaws are absent. Then when you come to fins, paired fins are absent. So all of them are absent. So no need to remember that. Then later when you come for respiration, what are the respiratory organs? 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits are useful for respiration. Then what is the type of circulatory system which it exhibits? It is nothing but closed type of circulatory system is exhibited by that of class Cyclostroma. So these are the things then which are associated with that of class Cyclostoma. So important points, only three you should remember. That is, they migrate to freshwater for spawning. Important neat question. Second one, 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits are present. That you should remember. Circulatory system not an important point. And ectoparasites on some fishes. Another important point is ectoparasites on some fishes, as well as all they are devoid of. That is, jaws are absent, scales are absent, fins are absent, everything is absent. So only 3 points that you should remember in this full class of cyclostoma. Now what are the examples which are associated with that of class cyclostoma? Example is petromyzon. Petromyzon. Petromyzon is also called as lamprey. Lamprey. Next, myxine is hagfish. Hagfish. Petromyzon, that is lamprey, as well as myxine, that is hagfish. These two important, myxine belongs to class Cyclostroma. Petromyzon, lamprey they will give you mostly in it. They won't ask about petromyzon. They'll ask about lamprey, belong to this myxine hagfish, they will remember. I'm going slow in these topics because You should remember very easily. Read 3 or 4 times. Then later we will continue with the topic, that is again next phylum we will see in the next class, that is class Ostictis as well as class Chondrichthyes. These are the two important numerous neat questions are asked based on this, so that you should remember. For now you remember Petromyzon lamprey is belonging, as well as Myxine hagfish or Myxine, and Petromyzon lamprey belonging to class Cyclostroma. So today we are done with this Cyclostroma. Next class we are going to see about Chondrichthyes as well as followed by Osteichthyes. Later reptiles, saves, mammals. We are going to complete this chapter of animal kingdom. Okay.